Hello, everybody. I'm Renee from Tuff. They have saved the best for last today. I'm glad that you're here. I've had a great time today talking with everybody in my booth, in my live booth. It's been such a pleasure. I hope to meet a lot of you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to some of you. Washington, that's far away. I'm really looking forward to meeting some of you tomorrow if you're going to be at the live show here in Tampa. It'll be nice to be with everybody, even though we'll be masked up. If you've seen me here, you at least know what this part of my face looks like tomorrow. Hey, if you need a breast pump, I've got a great one for you. Actually, I have several. I am here to talk to you. So yes, I want to talk to you about Tuff because I do believe in Tuff. I really do. But I want to talk more generally about how to pick the best breast pump for you. Okay. Because what happens is that you're going to get probably a list from your insurance company, and you're going to want to apply a few general things to your decision when you make it. Let me tell you a little bit about Tuff. Tuff's been around for about 10 years. In the last couple of years, hello everybody, I'm so glad you're here. In the last couple of years, we put together a team and really hit the road on our own. We did a lot of pumps for other companies, and now we've created a team and kind of upped our game. We know that there are lots of really great breast pumps out there on the market, and so we want to set ourselves apart, not only by having a really great selection of pumps, but making sure moms are offered the very best customer service and support that we can possibly give them. Know that I'm glad you're here. I've been waiting for this session too. We have set up a whole group of people that can support you in your pumping journey. We know a lot of times when moms get breast pumps, they oftentimes are not thinking that they're working properly or not working the best that they can. But really what's happening is moms just don't understand how to properly use the pump that they have. And so we have made a rock solid plan so that if you are using a Tuff breast pump, you can get all the support you need. We have all of our customer service folks have lactation training. I'm the IBCLC on staff. We have another CLC that's getting her IBCLC soon. And we've got a doula. I'm a former doula. Actually, I'll always be a doula. I'm just too tired to practice now. So we want to make sure that when you call anybody, they can either answer your questions or get you to the right person so that you get the support you need. No, also, I wish I could have gotten an app. So I know that also Tuff provides my lactation services to you as well if you are using a Tuff pump. They offer lactation appointments. All you have to do is go on our website and click on lactation consultant, and you can schedule an appointment with me. Obviously, my services through Tuff do not take the place of your relationship with your own lactation consultant or your pediatrician or your OBGYN, but they want to make sure that if you need somebody to help you get a pumping plan together, make sure that you're using the proper size breast shield or flanges, that I'm available to you. So I firmly believe that the choice to use Tuff is a good decision. Really. So let's talk a little bit about how to pick the best breast pump for you. I've got a few bullet points over here that I'm going to expand upon. First of all, what you need to do is you need to, one thing I didn't do is introduce me. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am an international board certified lactation consultant. I started my lactation journey 23 years ago when I had my first child. We have 4 and 1 sweet little grandson. I worked at WIC as a breastfeeding peer counselor for a long time and got my IBCLC while I was there. And then I did a lactation practice at a local pharmacy for about 5 years. And in that time, I was a midwifery assistant and a doula. And then also I've worked for a couple of other breast feeding related companies, and I landed with Tuff in 2018, and I'm really glad that I did. So I would not be sitting here talking to you about these breast pumps if I didn't believe that they truly are an excellent product and a really good company, because I've worked with far too many moms having far too many issues to support something that I didn't think would be a really good product for almost every mom to use if she needs a breast pump. So first of all, you need to consider, what does your insurance company provide? We do not provide pumps to your insurance company. Know that what happens is your insurance company is contracted with a durable medical equipment provider or a couple of them, okay? So since breast pumps are FDA regulated medical devices, they have to, through insurance, be distributed by a durable medical equipment supply company. So know that those companies pick a handful of breast pumps to distribute. So we may be on this list, your list, we may not be on your list. If we're not on your list and you want to choose us, you just need to request us. Sometimes they'll bring us in, sometimes they won't. Hopefully they will. So if we're not already there for you. So you need to figure out what breast pumps you have as an option through your insurance company. If you're going to be purchasing one on your own, the sky's the limit. You can get whatever you want. Know, if you'll look over in the chat over here, at the top, there's a pin post and it says, "We Heart RT Moms." That is our coupon code, and it is good for 50% off of almost everything. Not all of them will take requests, but some will. So it's good for almost everything on our website. There are 3 exceptions. It does not give you a discount on the masks, on the thermometer, or on the Tuff Pump and Pow breast shields or flanges. So everything else, the pumps, the bags, everything is covered by that coupon code. And one really great thing about that is oftentimes when moms are pumping and they're working, or if you're exclusively pumping, you need several full kits to go with your pump so that you don't have to keep washing it and drying it between sessions. You can have several and let one dry while you're using another. So that coupon code makes that more feasible for moms. So you figure out which ones your insurance company is providing, or the ones that your WIC office is providing, and do a little research on those to figure out what your options are. So sometimes moms say, should I use a hospital grade pump? But realize hospital grade is not a term that is regulated by the FDA. We don't use that term because we can't. If you either have a multi-user, which means can be used by several different people, so you would probably rent that pump and then buy a kit or several kits to go with it, or a single user, and that is usually what is distributed by your insurance company. So if you're getting one from your insurance company, you're getting a single user pump. And we have a full line of single user pumps. We also have 2 multi-users that are available as well. If you're just, I don't see any reason why you would need a multi-user pump. You can have one for yourself through your insurance company. So the question is then, do you want a manual pump or do you want an electric pump? Okay. If you're going to be pumping like a regular 40-hour-a-week job, if you have any situation where you think you're going to be exclusively pumping, or if you choose to exclusively pump, you definitely want an electric pump. Okay. A manual pump is great to have for those quick pumping sessions. Maybe you're out on the town with your partner or your girlfriends or something like that, and you want to take a pump with you. It's easier to pump with a manual pump so that you don't have to take all your tubing and all of that stuff with you. So it's nice to have both. Excuse me. So the good thing about Tuff is that with every electric pump that is either given through an insurance company or purchased, we also include, let me show you these 2 pieces right here, okay? So this is our manual kit, manual pumping kit. So when you get your electric pump, You are also receiving a manual pump. So you get both when you are getting a Rumble Tuff pump. And that is an extra bonus because, yes, there are times that you want to use a manual pump and you don't have to make a separate purchase for that. So the next question is, do you want a single pump to do one breast at a time, or do you want a double pump? Generally speaking, you're going to want to double pump more often than not, okay? So double pumping can increase prolactin levels, which is a whole other different conversation. That's really important. Your prolactin levels are really important. So also, it cuts your pumping time in half. You know, an average pumping session is about 15 minutes-ish. So if you're working, it's better to do both at the same time. So, however, when baby's little, there might be those times when you want to nurse on one side and pump on the other. There are all kinds of reasons to do that we will not go into right now. But so there are times that most times double pumping is the most prudent thing that you need to be doing. But there are times when you need to be single pumping. And so the beautiful thing about Rumble Tuff is that every double pump can be converted to a single pump. Very simply. All you do, this is the tubing that connects the motor to the kit. That's it. You're single pumping, or if you want a double pump, very, very simple. So, you know, sometimes I suggest that when moms are trying to increase supply, that they double pump for a while and then they switch to a single pump and do some breast massage. And so that makes it very, very easy to go back and forth. So with Rumble Tuff, you can have both your electric pump and your manual pump. You can have your single pump and your double pump. So there are other brands out there, if Rumble Tuff's not an option for you, that will do that as well. But keep an eye on that. That's a very, very helpful thing to happen. Another thing that I think is really important is the choice between an open system pump and a closed system pump. So an open system pump, what it means to be open is that there is no barrier between where your milk goes in and the tubing that goes to the pump motor itself, okay? And some of you have used some open system pumps will have gotten milk in your tubing, which is such a hassle, right? And then if your milk is in your tubing, it's in your pump motor too. It's very difficult to clean tubing and to really get it dry on the inside. And it's virtually impossible if you have an open system pump to get milk out of your pump motor. So I would always suggest, no matter what pump you decide to be using, make sure it's a closed system pump. With our system, our closed system starts right here. Okay, you'll see this is the cap. This is where the tubing goes on. You'll see under here, there's the silicone diaphragm. See that piece right there? So when this part goes onto the top of the kit, right here, you'll see it goes, push it very evenly all the way around. It needs to be put on all the way around here. When the cap goes on, the tubing connects right here. See that? So there's a barrier between where your milk goes in and where the tubing connects to the motor. You will, with a Rumble Tuff pump, never get milk in your tubing, okay? Which makes life easier. It's more cost effective because it very often when you're getting milk in your tubing, it gets moldy. And if you get mold in your tubing, you have got to stop pumping. You've got to get new tubing. So with our systems, you will never get milk in your tubing or in your pump motor. If you get milk in your pump motor, if you have an open system pump, it can come back up into your milk, just microscopic little pieces of that mold. And so it is, in my opinion, a much better idea to be pumping with a closed system. All of Rumble Tuff pumps use the very same kit. So if you have multiple pumps, because you got that 50% off coupon, so if you buy a couple of pumps, you want to try different ones, you want to have one at home, one at work, let's see, how can you tell if the system is open or closed? So they will say, when you go to the website, they will say if it's open system or closed system. There has to be a barrier between the pump motor. Some pump systems will put the closed system in the back of the pump. I'm a fan of the system that starts at the kit itself so that the milk doesn't get in the tubing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this whole thing, and I will, when I'm done with the whole shebang here, if we have time, I will answer all the questions you want, okay? Because I get really distracted. I'm sorry. So closed system is hugely important, hugely important. So know that another thing that you need to consider is the suction range that comes with your pump. So back in the day when I was, like way back in the day when I was having kids, that was when like hospital grade and single pumps, when they, would use that terminology, that would mean that the ones that you get in the hospital had more suction. They were a closed system. They lasted longer. Well, ladies, it's the year 2020, and a lot more pumps on the market have higher suction levels. You don't want a pump that only has a higher suction level, and you don't want a pump that only has a lower suction level. You want one that has a nice wide range, because before you start pumping, you don't know what amount of suction you're going to need. So you have to just jump in and making sure that your pump has the wide suction range will ensure that you'll fit in there somewhere, okay? So the general rule is that you want to pump at the highest level of suction that you can use without having pain. Nothing about pumping should hurt, ladies, nothing at all. If something is hurting, something is wrong, and you need to stop and you need to figure it out. So, you take your pump up to the highest, to the suction where it starts to hurt a little bit, and back it off. That's where you want to be pumping, okay? So if you are a mom that can just pump with a really low suction level, there are tons of pumps out there on the market that will work great for you. If you are a mom that needs that higher level, some of those pumps out on the market, they're just not going to cut it. But you're not going to know which kind of mom you are until you get there and until you have your pump. So you might as well go for that wide range of suction. Another question, do you want a pump that, of course, most everybody's going to have an electric pump, but some of the electric pumps will also give you the option of using batteries like this. Our Easy Express 2 can use AA batteries. We also have the Breeze here. Know that this is our largest pump. Our largest personal user pump, this little tiny thing here. So this is the Breeze, and it has a rechargeable battery. Know that AA batteries, no matter what you're using them in, a breast pump, a radio, whatever you use AA batteries in, they do not have as much power as a wall outlet, okay? So oftentimes you're going to see a little bit of a reduction in suction when you're using AA batteries. Not only that, but batteries run out really quickly because it takes a lot of power to run a motor. So if you think you're going to be pumping consistently and not having a wall outlet, I would strongly encourage you to get a pump that has a rechargeable battery. You can get the same amount of suction from our Breeze with the battery charged as you can when it's plugged in. So, and then you don't have to replace your batteries. And these will need to be replaced often. If you do find yourself in a pinch and you need to be pumping with a pump with AA batteries, get rechargeable batteries. That's going to save you money and also going to save on a lot of waste. So, that's huge. A rechargeable battery is really kind of a nice thing to have, just because then you're not stuck to a wall outlet. See that wall outlet right there? So you're not stuck really close to something. And know that no matter what pump you're using too, it's not a good idea to use an extension cord. You need to be pumped. It's getting late, ladies. You need to be connected into directly into the wall. So how long does the battery last? It depends. you can usually get a couple of days worth of pumping, but remember, moms will use different suction levels. They'll spend different amounts of time pumping. They'll have different numbers of pumping sessions throughout the day. So it's usually going to last you, a full-time working mom, a couple of days, but I would just keep an eye on that. There's a little battery charging icon up here, and you can keep an eye on that and make sure you keep it nicely charged. Another thing to consider is size. Way back in the day, my son is, my oldest is 23. I used one of those big Medela Lactina pumps, and ladies, that pump was like this big, you know, the handle, and then the case was like that big. They were huge. And pumps are getting a lot smaller now. It's really, really nice. Either one of these, Easy Express, we've got a Serene Express, we've got a Whisper, we've got a couple of more. Either one of these are going to fit really nicely in a bag. So take that into consideration. If you're going to be carting it around and transporting it around, it's good to have a smaller sized pump. It's also, if you are able, it's nice to have a pump at home and a pump at work. Like I said earlier, I worked at a pharmacy, and very, very often we had a whole baby section. It was really, really cool. They provided lactation services, and they had all this baby stuff, and we did all these little things. My mom used to come in, and then we'd call them mani-pedis with grannies, and they would come in and they'd paint fingernails and toenails. It was so cute. But oftentimes moms would come in because they had forgotten, that they forgot just one part of their kit, and they didn't want to run all the way home, and we were closer, so they had to buy another part. So it's a really nice thing to have extra kits, to have, even if you can have 2 pumps. I realize so often moms are not able to do that. And maybe by the use of this coupon code, other moms would be able to benefit from that, just so that you don't find yourself without your parts. One thing to consider is expected motor life. There are some moms out there that know darn good and well that they're only going to breastfeed for the first few weeks, and that is fine. If there's anything in the world that I support as a woman, choosing to do what she wants to do with her own body, period. You get to choose, mama. And you know what? If you don't want to breastfeed, you don't have to breastfeed. You don't have to feel pressured. If you want to breastfeed, breastfeed. You get to choose what you do with your own body. And no matter how you feed your baby, you're going to be a great mom. Okay. So expected motor life might be really important. If you know you're going to pump for those 6 weeks that you're home and you're going to be done, then you don't have to worry about an extended motor life. One thing to take into consideration is your insurance. There are some insurances that will only give mom 1 pump in her entire life. So even if you're only going to pump that 6 weeks, you want to get something with a longer motor life so that when you have extra kids, more children, maybe that's a better way to say it, the pump will still be working. But if you have an insurance company, that's going to give you one each pregnancy, this might not be as much of a concern, but know that our pumps all have an expected motor life of between 2,000 and 2,500 hours. So it's an extremely long motor life. That's a big deal. Especially if you're going to consider exclusively pumping, that's a really important thing. If you want to be pumping throughout the entire first year of your baby's life and you're working full time, you're going to want, or longer. Some moms choose to pump longer. Usually when I'm talking to moms and they're going to breastfeed their babies for longer than that year, I encourage them to pump, 2, 3, 4 times a day, depending on their work schedule. And once the baby hits a year, go down to once a day and then continue throughout that second year at once a day. So if you know that you even think you might possibly want to go longer than the first few weeks, the motor life is a really big consideration. So knowing that we are firmly we firmly know that our motor life is between 2,000 and 2,500 hours. So we have no problem at all offering a 2-year warranty on all of our electric pumps. This is a big deal too. That warranty means that if your pump motor is broken, what you're going to do is you're going to get a hold of me and we're going to go through everything. We, as well as all other pump companies, always troubleshoot with moms. When moms say my pump is broken, quite honestly, it's almost always a kit issue. Okay. So remember that when you are freaking out and starting to think that your pump is broken, think about your kit, go through your kit, make sure it's all put together properly. One thing you need to consider, this is kind of a little off subject, but I'm going to say it anyway. These membrane valves here, or lip valves, depending on what you use. We have both. They're kind of interchangeable. They need to be changed regularly. And so oftentimes moms will think their pump is broken when they just need to change their membrane valves, or they have other parts that are broken. So don't stress out, mama. Get a hold of customer service, go through that troubleshooting. And if that pump motor is broken, we're going to send you another one if it's within 2 years. And we do it quickly. One thing that I really, really appreciate about Rumble Tuff is that if there is actually a broken pump and it needs to be replaced by warranty, it will ship out, if at all possible, that day, and they will check to see what is the fastest way to get that to that mama, because we know that moms just can't go a week without a breast pump if they're working full time. So that's one of those things that our customer service does so very well. Check your warranty. Some pump brands don't have warranties. Some are 90 days, some are a year. I don't think there's anything longer than 2 years. Do we offer hands-free pump? Hey, let's talk a little bit about hands-free pumps. I'm getting off subject. We do not offer a hands-free pumping system. I strongly encourage you to, rather than focusing on a hands-free pump system, I would encourage everybody to get a hands-free pumping and nursing bra, one that you can wear, that you can pump with and breastfeed with, because a lot of times different breast shapes don't fit well into hands-free pumping systems. And so we have not gone down that road. I would always recommend that you get a hands-free nursing and pumping bra, or I would recommend you get 3 so that you don't have to do the laundry all the time. Another thing to take into great consideration, ladies, is your nipple size. I'm going to put a comment down here. There is a article on our blog. Our blog is called Pump Talk. It is great. Uh-oh, is anybody else losing sound? I hope you're not losing sound. This is a great little, very easy to understand guide about how to measure your nipples. One thing that you all need to know is flange and breast shield are equal terms, okay? They can be interchangeable, okay? So good, I'm so glad you can hear me. I'm sorry, whoever's having trouble. So breast shield or flange is the same thing. So you'll hear people use that interchangeably. I just mix them up all the time. So it is really important that you measure your nipples. Let's talk about how to measure your nipples. So pretend like this is your boobie, okay? So this is really the silicone insert. Okay, so pretend like the dark circle is your nipple. This opaque part out here is your areola. So that is the darker part that's around your nipple. Your nipple is the part that sticks up. Your areola is the darker part around it. And then this is the rest of your breast. When you are measuring, you need to measure the base down here where your nipple touches your areola. Take that measurement in millimeters. And whatever that measurement is, you need to add a few millimeters to pick your proper flange size, your proper breast shield size, okay? Know that all Rumble Tuff pumps come automatically with a 25 millimeter flange. So this would fit like a 20 or 21 millimeter. Okay, that's really important. We don't have a hands-free kit. I encourage you to buy a hands-free nursing and pumping bra, because sometimes mom's breasts don't fit well into those hands-free cups. So there are all kinds of different breast tissue. So I always recommend a hands-free nursing and pumping bra. So back to flange fit, if you have a 25 millimeter nipple, you do not want to use a 25 millimeter flange, because what will happen is your breast tissue will rub on the inside of the tunnel here, and that's painful, and it can also reduce the amount of milk that you can get out. So what you want is about 2 millimeters around the edges. So a 25 millimeter breast shield would fit like a 21 millimeter nipple. Know that all Rumble Tuff pumps also come with the silicone insert. This is not just about making pumping comfortable, okay? Actually, very little of it is. What it does is it reduces the diameter to about a 23 millimeter. So this is a 23 millimeter, this is a 25 millimeter, okay? It also can help if you have elastic breast tissue to kind of hold that tissue back a little bit too. So all Rumble Tuff flanges, or ladies, it's getting late. All Rumble Tuff pumps come with a 25 millimeter and a 23 millimeter, okay? So when you are considering what breast pump company to go with, you need to see what range of flange sizes they offer. If you vary from those general sizes, you know, other companies have like a 24 and 27 or a 24 and 28. And so anything outside of that, some companies offer other sizes and some do not. So you want to make sure if you fall in the smaller size or the larger size that you are going to be getting a pump that offers that you can access those other sizes. Know that Rumble Tuff has 15 flange sizes, including the 23 and the 25. 15, as far as I know, and if anybody knows otherwise, as far as I know, is the largest selection on the market. Know that your nipples might change a little bit in size when baby's here, but you can measure while you're still pregnant and get a good idea. Because if you measure and you figure out that you have an 8 millimeter nipple, you're never going to be a 25 millimeter flange, right? Even if they get a little bit larger after baby's born. So if you're like an 8 millimeter nipple, you need to make sure that you find a company that has that 13 millimeter flange. Rumble Tuff does. If you measure at a 32 millimeter, you need a 36 millimeter flange or breast shield, and you need to make sure that the company that you are getting your pump from has a 36 millimeter flange. You're never going to be back to a 24 if you measure at a 32. So know that we start out right here. This right here is a 13 millimeter flange. How do you measure your nipples? Go up here. Actually, I'll put this in here. Right here. This is a very simple guide. You can also find it at rumbletuff.com in our Pump Talk blog. And know that if you are using a Rumble Tuff pump, you can schedule an appointment with me through our website, and I can help you get the correct size flanges. Make sure you're getting the right ones, because Rumble Tuff offers my services to moms who are using our pumps free of charge. So this is our 13 millimeter. This would be for a mom with like a 9 millimeter nipple, okay? We go all the way up to the extra large Pump and Pals flange. They are measured a little bit differently, but this equates to about a 38, 40 millimeter flange. So we go all the way up to like a 40 millimeter flange size. So there's a huge selection. A lot of you will not need those alternative sizes, but you can figure out, yes, isn't the coin a great idea? That blew my mind. It has helped so many moms. It makes things so much easier. So, and another thing, my last bit of advice is to make sure that the company that you go with has really good customer service. Because like we were talking about before, moms think their pump's broken and they're really not. You need to be able to reach somebody. You need to be able to talk to a human being. You need to be able to do a Zoom meeting. Like we've got a little chat box thing on our website, and I'm in charge of that oftentimes. And there will be times when moms come into that and say, I'm having this issue with the pump. And I'll be like, hey, let's hop on a Zoom meeting. And so we just get on a Zoom meeting, we solve the problem, we're done. But we can see each other face to face. And if you go back and check, before we brought this team on, Rumble Tuff got a lot of bad reviews because there were moms that didn't know how to use the pump. They thought the pump was broken and there was nobody to call. So we are absolutely changing that. We are so dedicated to making sure that you have a good experience. I mean, it's so important. I mean, this is what I've built my life around, is making sure that moms don't go through what I went through when I was a young mother and I couldn't find help. So remember that Rumble Tuff is a great value. First of all, if you want it through your insurance company, get a hold of the DME. If they don't have us, ask them to bring us in. If you want to purchase it off our website, you can use the 50% off code. And thank you. And you have access to me. So that's one of the extra values of going with Rumble Tuff, is that you have access to lactation services free of charge. Know that I also, actually I don't have it here, shoot far. I also have a private practice where I do online consultations. So like I said before, if you are using a Rumble Tuff breast pump, you can access my services free of charge. If you are not, and you want to hook up and do, video froze. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you how to measure in just a second. So if you are not using Rumble Tuff and you want to do an online consultation, you can holler at me on my Facebook page and we can get that scheduled. Those are unfortunately not free of charge, but I have a very reasonable fee schedule. I do not do insurance. So I encourage each and every one of you to schedule an appointment with some sort of lactation professional, an IBCLC, a CLC, your breastfeeding peer counselor at WIC, somebody before the baby gets here. It is so wonderful to have that connection already created for you when the baby gets here. If you have concerns or questions, get that appointment early on. If you've had a difficult breastfeeding experience in the past, meet with a lactation. If you've had a difficult experience, I would suggest that you meet with a lactation consultant, an international board certified lactation consultant, because you can go through what I do with moms anyways, I go through their past experience and I figure out where the holes were, what part of the situation with their previous baby or babies caused the bumps in the road. And if you can get a plan in place to make sure that you don't have those concerns with your new baby, you're better off. And then you have that face-to-face relationship with that lactation professional if you have concerns. I just encourage all of you. And USLCA, if you want to meet face-to-face with somebody in your area, USLCA, which is the United States Lactation Consultant Association, has a really simple thing that you can use. You just Google find a lactation consultant, and the USLCA find a lactation consultant page will show up and help you connect with somebody in your area. If you have other questions, go ahead and put them down here. I'm sorry, it's on this side for me. On here, we have everything we have is portable. So put your questions down here, and I'd be glad to answer them. As far as how to measure your nipples, I know somebody had missed that, so I'm going to address that again really quickly. Remember to click on that link to the our pump blog, and you can find all of this information at rumbletuff.com. And if you go up to the top, it says Pump Talk up there, and that's our blog. There's a great meditation in there. My husband and I put that together. There's information on membrane valves and when you need to change them. There's information on if you have to start pumping early in your baby's life here outside of the womb, information on how to do that. So there's lots of great information. But as far as measuring your nipples, remember, yes, the Kind system does work with our pumps, and I love the Kind system. I think it's great. So pretend this is your nipple here, and this is your areola. So your nipple is the part that pops out. The areola is the darker part around it. You're going to measure across, okay, where your nipple hits the base of your areola, and that's your measurement, okay? So then you add a few millimeters to that to get the correct flange size or breast shield size. So that makes it super duper easy. Also, I'm just going to go ahead and put that article back down there again so that you can. Here, hi. Do we get your services if we purchase a manual pump? Sure. That makes it easy, huh? However, remember, if you purchase an electric pump, you get the manual kit with it, so you have both the electric and the manual. So that's helpful that you have all of those together. What other questions? Did I miss other questions? I think. I don't know. I feel like I've missed questions. If you have questions, go ahead and put them on in down there. We've got a few more minutes. I'm so glad it's good info. You know, I remember a long time ago, I saw on Facebook this meme about So be for your kids what you needed somebody to be when you were their age. And so I kind of translate that over to new breastfeeding moms. I think I want to be what I needed back then and I couldn't get. Let me get a little emotional. So that's why I'm here. And as far as the Haka goes, if there's anything in the world that I wish I would have invented, it's the Haka. I think those things are awesome. However, be really careful that you don't use it extremely often, and that when you're using it, that your baby is gaining weight properly. I have seen moms, I usually recommend that moms use that, once or twice a day so that you can get a little bit of a stash. You do not need a huge stash, ladies. You just want to tell your body to make a little bit more milk in the beginning. So when you're laying down like your hormone receptors and your prolactin levels, you want to bump that up just a little bit so that when you go back to work, if you take a stress hit, you can handle it. But I have seen moms use the Haka and other pumping methods to store up extra milk for their babies, and they end up taking too much. And so babies are lagging behind in weight and having darker urine output and not enough bowel movements. So I love the Haka and all the knockoff brands. I think they're great. But I really do believe you just need to be careful. And if you have any questions, reach out to somebody for help. When is the best time to order through insurance? Don't you wish I had an answer to that question? That totally depends on your insurance. Some insurance companies will allow you to order as soon as you know you're pregnant. Some insurance companies will not allow you to order until 6 weeks before. I would do all your research and get a hold of your insurance company and see when your insurance company will allow you. But I would get it as soon as you allow, or as soon as they allow. Is it common for milk production to drop off after 4 months? No. Sometimes that's related to some oral tethers or lip tie or tongue tie. Sometimes that's related to not getting off to a good start. Sometimes that's related to starting solids too early. That's a black hole that I would love to talk to you if you have further questions, if you want to schedule an appointment, if that's a concern for you, we could definitely pick that apart and see where that came from. I've read alternating sides every feed is the way to go. So I feed left of the haka, right on. You know, I would be careful about using the haka on the other side all the time. You might end up either not providing enough for baby or working yourself into an insanely huge oversupply. I know moms love that idea, but the fact of the matter is when baby's a few weeks old, you don't want to have to, every single time you go out and have dinner with your husband or your partner, or when you go to work, you don't want to have a haka hanging off one side while you're pumping the other. So I usually suggest moms use, what I usually do is the first feeding in the morning, nurse on one side, the haka or a pump on the other, put that away, nurse baby on that side. The next feeding, nurse baby on the side, haka or pump on this side, put that away. And that's it. And that'll give you a little bit extra, but it won't work you into the point where you have to be using something besides your baby at every single feeding. That gets overwhelming. How long can you use the pump parts before you should replace them? The pump parts have a 90-day warranty. What did I do with that? The membrane valve needs to be replaced every month to 3 to 6 months, depends on how often you're using your pump, all that kind of stuff. It is a good idea to replace your parts if you have any damage to them, if they've gotten abused in any way. Just keep an eye on your suction levels and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, no. Oversupply can be a horrible situation. And oftentimes moms who are actually dealing with a true oversupply feel like they are not heard because everybody wants more milk. Everybody wants more milk. But, you know, I've worked with moms that have soaked through their mattresses and they have recurrent mastitis and all of that kind of stuff. So mamas just have a little bit, but you don't need a whole bunch more. Pump parts be sterilized on a normal bottle steamer. I don't know what kind of bottle steamer you have. I do know that you can use the micro steam bags. Those are great. I'm not sure exactly what kind of bottle steamer, and I don't want to make claims that I'm not sure about. So I'm sorry. We have 3 more minutes, lady. Hit me with your questions. If you have more questions and you're using a Rumble Tuff pump, schedule an appointment with me. If not, you can go to my Facebook page and like me there and check out my fee schedule there. Sometimes you can use HSA funds for that. If you want to pick somebody else, just find a good person to partner with you on your journey. Do lily pads. I like lily pads. Like I've had some moms that were like massage therapists and stuff like that. I like them in those kinds of situations. Some moms do great with them, but I don't want to give other product reviews because although I just went crazy on the haka. Sorry, I don't want to say anything negative about any other company at all. Just be careful if you're going to use those for yeast growth. And things like that. I would recommend washable cotton nursing pads. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Sarah, that's what we were talking about, the haka. There's all kinds of knockoffs of the haka. I like that with that suction a little bit to your breast. I like those a lot. Hopefully Rumble Tuff will come out with one of those because I could do cartwheels over those things. So once again, I'm Renee Davis and I am the lactation consultant with the Rumble Tuff Breast Pump Company. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here with me tonight. And we're about done. If you guys are in Tampa and you're going to be at the live event tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you there and meeting you. Congratulations to everyone. You are enough. No matter how you feed your baby, you are a good mama. Take care.